all here.
We're recording. Yeah. No
Dennis, you're quiet.
more fun things for you, Ezra.
Fun
No,
things.
please
No,
reload the
That's
slides.
not going in. That's not going in.
Hey, you can't put it in now, Ezra. Thank you for listening to the Micro Machines podcast. And today we have our first non-tank subject. So, Greg, I will let you take it away on this one.
All right, as Dennis said, welcome to our very first ever non-tank episode. This is going to be over the Corsair, arguably the best propeller aircraft to ever be conceived. Let's go ahead and get some introductions, gentlemen.
Well, I'm Dennis. I'm recording from Ontario right now, and I'm drinking a nice fizzy lime water.
I'm Jack. I'm also in Ontario, and I've got some normal water that is not fizzy.
I'm Callum. I'm in New Zealand, and I don't have any drinks with me because I fucked up.
Damn it, Callum.
I'm Ezra. I'm in New Mexico, and I have no drinks either.
Damn it, Ezra.
Damn, y'all are failing, man.
Sorry,
I'm your-
Jack.
Yes, you should be sorry.
All right, well, I'll be the slide host today, Mr. Greg. SoCal, drinking some coffee because I came prepared. Ezra, Jack.
What? No, I'm prepared.
I mean,
This is
Callum. I'm sorry, fuck.
You dragged me under the bus.
Yeah, just like you're dragging that toe behind you. So if you'll take a look at the first slide
Well,
here, we got
joke's on
the
you.
MMP
Go make a
formation.
drink.
Yes,
The
well,
MLP formation.
Dennis, if you wouldn't mind clarifying each Corsair for us, my friend.
Okay, well, this is the special air squadron of the Micro Machines podcast. In the front, you can see our glorious leader, Greg, lost in the anime world. Directly behind him, coming up number 2, we've got Jack towing our ground support. Number 3, we've got, I'm not going to acknowledge anything in number 3. Number 4, you've got Callum dragging his Corsair nuts. And in number 5, you can see, actually, it's Shunsaku, our pet red panda, and me pretending to be a Corsair, but in fact, we're a Zero, and we're going to go airstrike the Revell factory.
Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor Point 2.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you don't mind switching slides for me, Dennis. Thank you very much. All right, so to start off the episode, I thought it might be a good idea to talk about the general specifications based off of the F4U Corsair. There were like 16 variants of this thing. So the general characteristics, you got a crew of 1, length's about 33 foot, 8 inches. Wingspan is 41 feet. Height is 14 feet, 9 inches. Wing area is 314 square foot. Empty weight is 9,205 pounds. Gross weight, 14,670 pounds. Max
Gross.
takeoff weight, 14,533 pounds. That's a lot of fucking bombs. Power plant is we'll get into that part later. Performance, max speed, 446 miles per hour. Cruise speed, 215. Stall speed, 89. Range, 1,005 miles. Combat range, 328 miles. Service calling, or service ceiling, is 41,500 feet. And rate of climb is 4,360 foot per minute. The armament for this bad boy, you have 6 50 caliber machine guns, 3 in each wing. 400 rounds per gun. You could also get M3 cannons. You can get 8 5-inch rockets, and then 4,000-pound bombs. I think you can get up to one 4,000-pound bomb. I think you can get through 2 500-pound bombs. 4 75-pound bombs, I think, is what they could carry as well. But yeah, that's kind of the general specifications for all the War Thunder nerds out there.
So it does it all. It's fast, it's got good range, and it's a ground pounder.
Oh, absolutely. This thing does it all.
We love to see it.
Jack of all trades.
Quite literally. All right, so let's talk about the development of this thing. Bear with me, I suck at reading. In February of 1938, the U.S. Naval Bureau of Aeronautics began soliciting new fighter aircraft proposals with global conflict on the horizon. The Navy requested that the maximum attainable speed and stalling speed be not any lower than 70 miles per hour. A range of 1,000 miles was also specified. The fighter had to carry 4 guns, or 3 with increased ammunition. Provision had to be made for anti-aircraft bombs to be carried in the wing. These small bombs would, according to thinking in the 1930s, be dropped on enemy aircraft formations.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's. I read that and I was like, what the hell? Let's see. In June of 1938, the U.S. Navy signed a contract with Vought for a prototype bearing the factory designation V-166B. In February of 1939, 1 year after the Navy's proposal, construction of the XF4U-1 powered by the XR 2800-4 prototype of the Pratt & Whitney R2800 Double Wasp began. When the prototype was completed, it had the biggest, most powerful engine, largest propeller, and the largest wingspan of any naval aircraft to date. The first flight of the XF4U-1 was made on May 29th, 1940, with Liam A. Bullard Jr. at the controls. The flight proceeded normally until a hurried landing was made when the elevator trim tabs failed because of flutter.
Oh, that would do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I will say, going back to talking about size, I have seen the Corsair in person. It is quite a big aircraft.
Dude, they're...
no joke. I was surprised how big it is.
Yeah, on a serious note, like, you look at this thing, you're like, oh, that's like a really neat aircraft. But this thing is, like, especially for being put on an aircraft carrier, like, even with the wings folded, this thing is huge.
You know, I actually noticed that with aircraft from the Second World War. You know, you think of, like, the F-14, which was, you know, the biggest carrier, like, fighter jet. And I think it was at least close. And that was a huge aircraft, right? And you can kind of see that just looking at it. But you look at, say, the Corsair, you look at the Avenger torpedo bomber, even the Dauntless. These are all massive aircraft, but like they just don't look like it.
Yeah.
No. But, they're on the left-hand side. Oh, yeah, no worries. The XF4U-1 prototype in 1940 to 41, showing its more forward cockpit location. So, just a little history lesson. They moved the cockpit back. You can kind of see it in the picture below that, the 2 Corsairs in flight. They moved it back for reasons we will talk about later.
Beautiful.
All right. Development part 2. We all know a certain someone who likes to take interest in developing objects.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
I couldn't pass that one up. I'm
the
sorry.
best joke I've heard all day.
Someone put that in the quotes.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to remind you, we are a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
For audio listeners, there is a picture of Michael Jackson
In a Corsair cockpit. All right, so development part 2. On October 1st, 1940, the XF4... This always fucking fucks me up. It's like a tongue twister. The XF4U-1 became the first single-engine U.S. fighter to fly faster than 400 miles per hour by flying at an average ground speed of 405 miles an hour. The prototype... I know, right? The prototype also had an excellent rate of climb, although testing revealed some requirements would have to be rewritten. In full power dive test, speeds up to 550 miles an hour were achieved, but not without damage to the control surfaces and access panels, and in one case, an engine failure.
That's weight reduction right there. It doesn't matter.
Facts. The spin recovery
I don't think that
standards...
counts as an achievement.
Oh, they sure did. The spin recovery the spin recovery standards also had to be relaxed as recovery from the required 2-turn spin proved impossible. So basically saying the way the wings are like kind of canted like that, it was extremely hard for the aircraft to recover when it was, failing.
Didn't it also
Versus like a P-51.
Didn't it also have a tendency when it was coming into land of like spinning, like barrel rolling, basically to port side?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like the left wing would suddenly drop when they're about to hit the deck.
Oh yeah, there's a video on YouTube about the Corsair. It's like a 12-minute video, and they have a clip of that actually showing the Corsair coming in for a landing, and it starts to tip, but it lands. But with the way the wing was tipping and the way it hit the deck, it turned hard, and like it hit the right wing on the command deck and kind of blew up. But
Just kinda.
Yeah, especially like World War II aircraft carriers, there was no room for error. If like you came in at even just a slightly wrong direction, you were heading into either the bridge or you're heading off the deck.
LOL, get fucked. Alright, so reports coming back from the war in Europe indicated an armament of 2 30 caliber engine cowling mounted machine guns and 2 50 caliber guns was insufficient. The Navy's November 1940 production proposal specified heavier armament. The improvements included 3 50 caliber machine guns mounted in each wing panel, totaling of 6 50 cal machine guns. That's a lot of fucking firepower coming your way.
It's worth noting that like when the Second World War began, the 50 cal machine gun was like more or less unheard of. I mean, you had some aircraft which had cannon, but at this point, the standard was really 7.62, caliber 30, 7.92. Like the 12.7 millimeter 50 cal was like completely out of the world for a lot of like air forces to deal with. And you see the American aircraft with like the 6 or the 8 50 cals. Those things could do a huge amount of damage.
In a short burst too, because you got 6 of them things, and you just squeeze the trigger for a second and let go. That's a lot of rounds going downrange.
Well, I remember reading about one pilot who was he had flown, I think it was the Spitfire, which had 4 20mm cannons later in the war, right? And he had also flown I think it was a P-51, which had 6 caliber 50s, and he said unequivocally every time he would take the caliber 50s, because even though they didn't have the same punch as a cannon shell, you could carry a lot more ammunition for them.
Oh yeah, that was a major problem because in the earlier times of the war, they would mount 20 mil cannons, but it would, like for the Germans, they would mount 1 or even 2, but they would only carry a total of like, I think it was 80 to 120 rounds, and that goes by pretty quick. Versus here, I think you can carry 2,400 rounds of 50 caliber ammo in the Corsair. That's a lot of ammo.
Yeah, if you've ever played Air Realistic.
So to continue on with the development slide, we have let's see, where did I leave off at?
See, it's funny the amount of ammo that aircraft carried. Like, it still chews through it really quick. I remember reading something about the Spitfire. You had 20 seconds of ammo. So it had, couple thousand rounds, but in total their firing time was about 20 seconds. So you'd have they'd fire them in maybe 2-3 second bursts, and then that was it.
You'd have to, yeah.
So so like those long battle scenes where they've been flying for hours, no, they'd be in a formation for a couple minutes, and then that was it. It was really short.
Yeah, that's something. There's a game that'll come up later in the slides. It's very accurate in that aspect. Like, you go up with a certain amount of rounds flying, and once you're out, you got to go back down, land, and rearm and refuel and all that before you can go back up, because your fuel and ammo goes by so fast. And
War Thunder,
like Calvin's seen these movies where they're fucking like. If y'all seen Pearl Harbor, right? The movie.
No.
No.
I've seen Tora, but not Pearl Harbor.
Never mind, I won't spoil it then. But basically, it's very inaccurate aircraft combat. But yeah. Anywho, so formal U.S. Navy acceptance trials for the XF4U-1 began in February of 1941. The Navy entered into a letter of intent on March 3rd of 1941 and received Vought's production proposal on April 2nd and awarded Vought a contract for 584 F4U-1 fighters, which were given the name Corsair, inherited from the firm's late 1920s Vought O2U naval biplane Scout. The first production, F4U-1, performed its initial flight a year later on June 24th, 1942. It was a remarkable achievement for Vought. Compared to land-based counterparts, carrier aircraft are overbuilt and heavier to withstand the extreme stress of deck landings.
That always seemed like funny to me. Like, you think about it, you're on an aircraft carrier, right? You would want your aircraft to be as small and light as possible, but that wasn't the case in real life. Like, they were really, really durable and rugged machines.
Oh yeah, seeing like the Corsair, for an example, land on an aircraft carrier, that thing just like plumps down. It's not like, because you like Dennis said, you would think it just come in and like land and like, because they had the hook it grabbed onto, right? But to just in case they never caught that, they would have to come in so slow, and half the time they would just like basically belly flop without turning over onto the deck, and then have to like move the thruster up to move forward. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, if you don't mind clicking the next slide, please.
I mind so much. Why would you even ask me that?
Well, Dennis, that's why.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I know.
Yes, we can hear you.
Get a bit closer to the mic, Jack. You're a bit quiet.
Oh,
Do
yeah,
you want to
that's
put
fair.
something in there before we continue?
Turned it up. No, I was
we
just
can
my internet was
delete
cutting
this
out.
one
So
section.
yeah.
All right. Callum, if when you were working on this, go ahead and just cut out till now.
Noted.
All right, so very well. All right, so the engine, propeller, and landing gear, as well as performance. So the F4U incorporated the largest engine available at the time, the 2,000 horsepower, 18-cylinder Pratt & Whitney 2-2800 double wasp radial. To maximize as much power as possible, a relatively large Hamilton standard hydromatic 3-blade propeller of 13 feet and 4 inches, which is 4.6 meters, was used. While the engine certainly enhanced the aircraft's performance, it presented problems on other design elements. Since the propeller was exceptionally large, it was challenging to make the landing gear struts long enough to provide the proper ground clearance. Basically, propeller was a bit too big for the ground clearance.
We should all be so lucky.
All right.
So this is a V-22 Osprey moment.
Basically. So to solve this problem, the designer switched to an inverted gull wing. Performance. The performance of the Corsair was superior to most of its counterparts. The F4U-1 was considerably faster than the F6F Hellcat and only 13 miles an hour slower than the Republic P-47. I always want to say P-51D, but P-47 Thunderbolt. All three were powered by the R-2800, but whereas the P-47 achieved its highest...
I get this part out as well, I'm afraid.
Yep, no problem.
Hey, yeah, my internet just keeps
Oh
dying.
no, what happened?
You just got nuked for like a quick second. You're back now.
Oh, that
No!
wasn't me. That was Greg.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Fuck! Okay.
That's okay. We can all get rid of it in post.
Okay. Fair. What did y'all hear last?
You were talking about you got to like the F4U, and that was it. Like the second sentence of performance.
Okay, so we'll just start back on restart performance.
Don't cut this out as a prank. Keep it in.
Oh, that'd be such a dick move. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the performance. The performance of the Corsair was superior to most of its counterparts. I totally fucked that up. Contemporaries. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, so the Corsair was superior to all of its fucking peers. How about that? The F4U was considerably faster than the Hellcat and only 13 miles an hour slower than the P-47 Thunderbolt. All three were powered by the R2800, but whereas the 47 achieved its highest speed at just a little over 30,000 feet with the help of a intercooled turbocharged engine, the Corsair reached its maximum speed at almost 20,000 feet using a mechanically supercharged engine. Alright, please get me off of this fucking slide.
The cursed slide.
Basically. Alright.
Oh, Wikipedia, I love it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, this isn't from Wikipedia. This part right here. Believe it or not. I listened to a documentary and wrote all this down, so that's
No
kind of
way.
why it took so long.
That's
That's kind of why it took me forever to do the slides.
that production value. Holy shit.
Thank you. Alright, so the Whistling Death, the nickname of the Corsair. In September 1942, the Corsair started its carrier qualification trials. Several problems arose with the landing gear, tailhook, and tail wheel. Since the Hellcat was coming into service in the Navy at the same time, the Marine Corps deterred the Corsair release until all landing problems were resolved. The Corsair finally entered island-based Marine service in the Southwest Pacific at the end of 1942. It began flying in large numbers over the Solomon Islands in 1943. Marine pilots loved the Corsair, especially since the speed and armament gave it a swift advantage over the Japanese A6M0.
Raw.
Oh yeah, that's actually a little proud Marine moment for me. I'm pretty happy about that. The Corsair quickly became famous as it ranked up impressive kill numbers against the enemy. The Corsair got the nickname Whistling Death due to the air running through its wing-modded intake slots while flying at high speeds. This gave the aircraft a unique sound, thus prompting the Japanese to tag the fighter with the nickname allegedly. So basically with that, Americans claim that breaking Japanese code and whatnot, the Corsair, they would always, anytime the Japanese encountered the Corsair, they would hear the Whistling Death. There have been people try to disprove that, but it's still up in the air as to this day.
Well,
But we keep it because it's...
I can confirm the like what the sound is like because I was at an air show in Auckland. No, not in Auckland, Tauranga, and you had the crowd facing the runway, and we've got a flying Corsair marked up in New Zealand colours, and they came up from behind the audience, and you didn't hear it until it was on top of you. It was amazing. Like no wind up.
Oh, I
no
bet that
nothing.
was.
It was just suddenly it was just this fucking Corsair was right on top of you. Scared the shit out of everyone. It was a good time.
Who's
I'd be scared
Corsair?
if I found the Corsair on top of me as well.
Yeah, honestly. That
Callum, who's Corsair?
Pardon?
Who's Corsair?
It's a New Zealand one. So I think it's owned by New Zealand Warbirds down in Tauranga.
Ah, sweet.
Cal,
Nice.
quick digression. They also are restoring the Mosquito, correct?
Has been restored. It's bloody Americans have them. Have it now.
Titties.
But there's a non-flying
Greg's just like
mosquito.
rubbing his hand.
There is a non-flying mosquito in the museum in Auckland, which they've restored. But the one that flies is now in. Actually, I think it's in California.
No way.
I've got a photo.
I'm gonna have to go find
a
it.
picture of it
Greg
hanging up on
joinked
the
it.
wall. But now, if you want to hear a decent engine, 2 Rolls-Royce Merlins at full speed at 100 feet
Sir.
above you. Now that is something to, that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity I had to watch the Mosquito flying for the first time, and that was a good time.
Makes your panties moist, huh?
Oh, boy, did it. Boy, did it. The elastic on my underwear just, pinged off.
Step back, everyone. You're in the splash zone.
Oh Lord. All right, so the Corsair was only used by the Marines until the Navy started using it in 1943. In 1944, the aircraft was certified for carrier ops. In addition to being a fighter, the Corsair extensively worked as a fighter bomber. It was vital in providing close air support to troops slugging their way through the islands of the Pacific. On the morning of May 10th, so real quick, this is a really neat story that I didn't believe at first. I had to do some research to make sure this was like true, and it definitely is. So on the morning of May 10th, 1945, two Marine Corps pilots, Captain Kenneth Rooster and First Lieutenant Robert Klinglin, he has a weird-ass name, went on a combat air patrol 10 miles away from the Canida airfield. Spotting vapor trails, the two aircraft went up to investigate. Now keep in mind, they had a total of 4 aircraft, but the other 2 pilots weren't as experienced as these guys, so they kept them on the patrol route while they went up and investigated. Over 38,000 feet in the air, the two intercepted a Kawasaki Ki-45 who tried to outrun them going north. The Corsairs fired off half of their ammunition to lighten the aircraft in order to keep up with the Ki-45. The most American thing ever.
Well,
Imagine that. You're the American war machine. You're like, I can waste, 1,400 rounds. Just fucking
fuck it.
drops all my bombs, shoots all my rockets.
I really hate this Ki-45.
I have to catch up to it. It's like that one guy who keeps killing you in a video game, so you just have to keep going after him.
Fuck this one Ki-45 in particular.
Honestly. So the let's see. They fired off all their ammo to try to keep up to it. Rooster got close enough to hit the Ki-45 and damage its right wing. Klinglin used his propeller.
Right wing.
Oh god, you gotta add some like War Thunder fucking voiceovers.
We need a War Thunder soundboard.
We do. Klinglin used his propeller to bring the Ki-45 down while Rooster flew above to distract the Japanese pilot. Klinglin sliced into the Ki-45's rudder with his propeller. Yeah.
I mean, I know they built these things tough, but like that's a whole other level.
Imagine being 38,000 feet into the air and you fired off over half your ammo, which means you still have half of it. And you're like, fuck it. I'm gonna make sure he goes down. This is personal.
Fuck this guy.
Pretty much. Oh, God. So he sliced into the rudder with his propeller. 2 more passes like this eventually took off the rudder and the right stabilizer. The Ki-45 then crashed into the Pacific Ocean just miles off the coast of Okinawa. Despite damaged wings and bullets to the engine, Klinglin without power going to the propeller directly from the engine, the Corsair was eventually repaired and returned to service. Both pilots were awarded the Navy Cross, which in America is the second highest honor in battle, for their actions that day. The Corsair gained another nickname, the Angel of Okinawa, for its role in the battle. And you can see it up there on the top right, got a nice picture of a Corsair with the Angel of Okinawa written on the left-hand side of the engine.
Can I just say, imagine being that one Japanese pilot who's just looking over as your wings getting chewed off.
I'd be cursing my emperor.
They're using Japanese war tactics against them.
Yeah, like, god damn it, I was supposed to be the kamikaze. Alright, so the war record from World War II. The data surrounding... What's up? Oh yeah, that's right. So, the data surrounding the Corsair's performance is staggering. By the end of World War II, the Corsairs were credited with was taken down to over 2,140 Japanese aircraft against only 189 losses, an impressive kill ratio of 11-1. During its service in the conflict, the Corsair flew 64,051 sorties, of which only 15% were from aircraft carriers. The Corsair dropped over 15,500 pounds of bombs during the war, accounting for 70% of total bombs dropped by U.S. fighters. It also served other Allied armies, such as El Salvador, Argentina, France, Honduras, New Zealand, United Kingdom, United States, Canada, and apparently Ezra's Reich, as we saw in the first slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Aside regarding Canadian Corsairs. So Canada didn't actually have the Corsair as in the Royal Canadian Air Force, but we did have them in the Royal Canadian Navy, and basically what happened was you had a bunch of Canadian pilots who flew British Royal Navy Corsairs off of British carriers in the Pacific, and in the Second World War, the second last Victoria Cross that was awarded to a Canadian was awarded to a one Robert Hampton Gray. And you can see basically here on these two bottom photos, you've got the first one, which is a profile of his aircraft, number 115, and right below that is basically a artist's rendition of the action that earned him the Victoria Cross, which is the highest honor of battle that you can get in the British Commonwealth. And essentially what happened was on August 9th, 1945, in the Miyagi Prefecture of Japan, Lieutenant Gray, flying the F4U, he led an attack on a group of Japanese naval vessels, sinking the escort ship Amakusa before his plane crashed into the bay. So his plane was hit by anti-aircraft fire, and he had to crash, and he was unfortunately killed in that. But he basically, he had some aircraft as wingman, but he more or less single-handedly attacked not just one but multiple Japanese ships. He caused a huge number of casualties, and this one little, not little, but this one carrier fighter sunk an entire ship. So he's Canadian legend. I'm proud enough to say that I actually helped a guy make a remote controlled, I think it was a 2-meter wingspan remote controlled Corsair model with those exact markings, and you can see it if you're in the Oshawa area. You can see it flying sometimes.
If you ever get a picture of it, please do send it to us.
I will, yes.
Yeah, so New Zealand, we only had one squadron of Corsairs. That was Squadron number 22. And they were formed in 19th of June 1944 and disbanded in September 1945. So our Corsairs, they were all stationed at several airfields, including Guadalcanal, Bougainville, Imaru, and Espiritu Santo. Is that how you pronounce it? Espiritu? Oh, fuck it. Espiritu Santo. So
Close enough.
Oh, yeah. So the photo that you see second bottom, the coloured one, that is the New Zealand one we have that I mentioned earlier.
The one with the teal circle?
Yep. So
nice.
Because the reason all the Commonwealth using the roundels had to get rid of the... You know why they had to get rid of the red circle part of the roundel?
Why is that?
It was because when they were flying with Americans, all Americans saw was the red little dot and thought they were Japanese and tried to shoot them down.
You're
so
kidding.
The Commonwealth pilots using the British roundel had to get rid of the red dot in the center because the Americans kept thinking they were Japanese, even though they could have been even flying the same bloody aircraft.
You've got like a formation of F4Us. You've got a bunch of American Marine Corps F4Us, and they're all flying like 3 meters apart from each other, right? And suddenly a Canadian F4U joins, and it's got the tiny, like the smallest, like 2 centimeter wide red circle. And all of a sudden, like every single Marine that goes like Terminator mode, he's like, "Oh my God, it's a Hinamaru."
Yeah. So at the
Look, we aren't known for being
Kill the
smartest people.
Yeah. So at the start of the war, all naval aircraft and stuff did have the roundel, but they quickly got rid of it because the Japanese having the big red roundel and then their small little roundel, Americans couldn't distinguish between them for some reason. Hence why you see the Seafire, which is basically the naval version of the Spitfire, doesn't have a red roundel.
Well, to be fair, it definitely looks really cool having that teal circle. It definitely a distinction.
Oh, the teal. I actually quite like the Commonwealth naval roundel. It's I think it's pretty good.
Dripping.
I'd agree.
Well, that was cool. I like roundels.
Yes. Next slide, please. All right.
Legacy.
So the legacy of the Corsair. The Corsair was the only World War II fighter aircraft to continue production after the war's end. It served the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps well into the 1960s. Let's see. From its prototype in 1940 to its final delivery to the French in 1953, 12,751 Corsairs were manufactured in 16 different models. Its almost 11-year production run is the longest of any U.S. piston engine aircraft fighter. The Navy later used the Corsair for night fighting in post-World War II combat. During the Korean War, Lieutenant Guy Pierre Bourdillon Jr. was the only U.S. Navy night fighter ace of the Korean War and was the last ace to fly a propeller-driven aircraft in the 20th century. He shot down 5 enemy planes, and there on the right-hand side, you got 2 pictures of his 2 different Corsairs. Let's see. The Corsair saw service with other countries as well into the 1960s, like when the French used them in Indochina and Algeria. The Corsair last saw combat in 1969 during the football wars between El Salvador and Honduras. The conflict coincided with rioting when the FIFA World Cup qualifier during the 2 countries. A Corsair flown by Captain Fernando Soto shot down a P-51, one P-51 Mustang, and 2 Goodyear FG Corsairs. The U.S. Navy officially retired the aircraft after the Korean War.
Can I just say that P-51 he shot down was one of the highly modified post-war ones with like the wingtip fuel tanks. It was a dual seater.
The sidewinder missiles.
Do you have a picture, Ezra?
Of course he does.
He's gonna go text Don. Don, send me a picture.
No, he's looking through his homework folder.
I am.
Oh no, it's going to be.
Yeah, here we go.
P-51.
The anime post-war P-51.
Where are you sending it to?
Should I? I don't know. Should I put it in the slides?
I am not refreshing the slides. I don't trust you after like the last 3 incidents.
This is fair. Okay, I'll send it to podcast planning.
Models.
Ah, yes.
Aircraft. Wait, no. There we go. Look at that P-51. Look how sleek it is.
Oh God, what the fuck? No, I don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
That looks really
for everyone
stupid.
who is listening to our podcast, you will be glad you are not watching it right now because that is just awful. That's an atrocity.
What?
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Models.
I kind of like it.
No, I like it. The camo's just weird.
Yeah, the camo's weird. It's like a mix between an A1 Skyraider and a P-51. It's their bastard child.
The inbred combo.
If Alabama was an aircraft.
American way.
So, model
You've just
kits
been
of
banned
the
from
Corsair.
Alabama.
Oh, fuck Alabama. Who cares?
Yeah.
So, I've actually got 2 model kit Corsairs. One was from Hasegawa and 2 other companies like NMM or whatever combined. It was a weird little assortment made in 1981. 1:72 scale. You'll see later, as well as the Tamiya F4U-1A Corsair. They're on the bottom, kind of middle, with all the palm trees in the back. 1:48 scale. Looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, I've got the Academy kit, which is the one that's been held in the left hand of the girl. That one's really good. That was a weekend build for me, which will be shown in the next slide as well.
I don't have
Yeah,
any of
I
these
built
kits, but
the
I can buy the
Revell,
32 scale one for the same price you buy your 72 scale ones for, so go up and see it.
I'm gonna come to your house, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. You'll find out what I do.
Check your mailbox.
I built the Revell F4U-4, and it was an absolute shit kit.
Well, yeah, it's Revell.
The one with the polka dots.
Oh God! All right, so this is the models that we have made of the Corsair. So on the top there, you've got you've got the forced perspective of the Corsair during the New Georgia campaigns, 1943, kind of one of his first engagements near Munda Point.
And on
Tits.
the bottom left
That's
is mine. That's the Academy kit. So I've got the earlier 3-tone camo which is white on the bottom, then a sort of duck egg pale blue for the tail and mid surface, and then dark navy blue all over the top, which was all done with airbrush. So yeah.
And unlike Callum's, I have the Revell 148 scale Corsair, which I built like 5 years ago. And it was hand painted with dollar store watercolors.
Whoa.
And yeah,
Watercolors?
absolutely no decal setting solution whatsoever. Yeah,
Wait, Ezra, how did you
the
get
canopy is fogged as hell.
how'd you get the canopy, like, the blue on the canopy? I forget what those are called. With watercolors.
Many layers.
Really? Okay, that's impressive, actually.
It was not fun. Yeah. This photo probably makes it look better than it did in person. So take that for what you will. Yeah. Ugh. Bad memories.
Hey, we all build kits that we look back and regret. Okay, but to be fair, it's a Corsair, and it's actually not bad, especially for a few years ago, dude.
He's lying. It's bad.
I think the background, Ezra, I love you to death, bro. I think the background is what's making it look like a first grade.
No, Ezra, like that's actually not a bad kit whatsoever. Like you could even, if you want, you could even restore that and make it look top notch grade.
Yes.
But yeah, the background
No.
ain't doing you any favors, my boy.
Oh,
I said
no, I couldn't. No, there were so many gaps in it. Like, I think it got destroyed years ago.
No.
Well, I say bring
I
back
wouldn't
the
build that kit
background.
again.
Bring back the background. You should
Yeah.
put your Bob Semple in front of that.
Oh God.
Oh, that would look so good.
Yeah. With the Corsair still written on the front.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess it's a good learning experience.
Absolutely, dude. Your next Corsair is going to be like 1,000 times better than that because you're just a amazing model builder.
Greg or
Oh,
Callum
thank you.
or
I
Jack,
definitely hope
please,
so.
buy the 32 scale Tamiya Corsair or Ezra. Please buy the 32 scale Corsair.
I promise you, I will eventually do the 32 scale. I've got the 48, but I want to do a few aircraft
It's
before I venture into that.
expensive.
Not
That's
for me.
okay.
eh?
Okay. Strength not expensive for me.
Isn't that thing like? Isn't that thing like $250?
Oh no, it's nowhere near that. It's I think it's about 130 Canadian dollars, which would
Jesus
actually
God.
like probably in and around the 100 to
Oh.
$110 range.
God, yeah, I want
That's
to.
expensive.
Oh, it's
I wanna
not
get
as I
the-
thought.
I want to get the 1 to 32 scale Corsair and have it with the wings folded in on an aircraft carrier.
Well, the thing is, like, it's expensive, right? But they give you so many detail parts. You can do that right out of the box.
Yep.
So take
Yeah,
that
don't
for
you get
what
photo etch and like canopy masks?
Oh yeah, you get camping masks, photo etch, metal landing gear, and actual rubber tires.
Oh wow!
Oh, that is
Oh, nice.
that is
Wow.
nice. Okay.
And they give you a nice high quality metal display stand if you want to have it like posed with the wheels up.
That's really cool. Definitely.
And you can build with the engine exposed, right?
You can, yeah. There's full engine and cockpit interior detail.
Damn.
Holy Christ.
Okay.
Oh, and they give you all the bombs and rockets as well.
That's
Oh my
so
God.
cool.
You can pose
Get
the
the
wing
full
channels,
load.
like the wing roots open, so you can show the ammo belts.
God damn.
Yeah.
Just keep adding more and more. You're like a vacuum salesman.
Oh, you can get it on
How
eBay
about
for
showing you the
$80.
Tier Hoover,
The eBay special.
Oh God, I wouldn't trust that.
not the eBay special.
I love my eBay, but all right, what's next?
Well. Oh yeah.
Ah, yes. All right. So this is a little segment I wanted to add. I love virtual reality,
Did my
and
internet go
especially
out?
flying aircraft in virtual reality. There's a video game called Gunship Sequel World War II, and basically it's you can play single or multiplayer, and I use the Oculus Quest 2. It's about $20, and you can fly just about any aircraft that was used in World War II from the main Germany, Russia, England, the States, and Japan. And these are the two different Corsairs I've got. So the top left is the cockpit of the Corsair, inside and out, and then the bottom two are the
Hello?
the number, the Mark 1, I think.
Cut this out.
Yeah, I'm brain farting. The one on the bottom's the newer one. The one on the top right's the older one. There we go. Uh-oh.
What? Oh god.
Ezra leave?
Yeah, Ezra.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm back. I'm here. I
Okay.
got kicked out. My internet.
We'll reload your page because I can't see your recording showing up.
This is professional.
Oh god, if we lose half the episode because Ezra... Oh god.
Moving on to my little special segment here. So, I absolutely love VR gaming. I have an Oculus Quest 2, and one of the games I really enjoy playing is called Gunship Sequel World War II. Basically, it's the closest thing you're going to get to a flight simulator on the Oculus Quest 2, but it's all about World War II. So it's single player, multiplayer. You can play basically any aircraft, like major aircraft from Russia, Japan, Germany, United States, and England. And one of those,
That's sick. Can you fly B-17?
you can, yeah, the B-17G, and you can fly it. You can go in any of the positions.
Oh,
You can
that's
drop
awesome.
bombs, shoot guns. It's fucking fantastic.
Can you do multiplayer?
That's so
Yes, you can.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, I talked to Dennis the other day about this game and even sent him a little video showing him kind of how it works.
He made me make a Facebook account, guys.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Finally.
But basically, the whole reason for bringing this up, one, please everyone get an Oculus Quest 2 to get this game so we can play together. And two, there are two Corsairs in the game, so the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. And the bottom picture, the front and side profile, is the Mark II. You can see the rockets and the more bombs there, as well as all the Japanese flags on the left-hand side. And then the top right is the Mark I. It does not have rockets, but it does carry some bombs. And then the top left is the Corsair Mark II interior. They're basically the same. I think there's a little bit of a difference between the two, but you got your gun sight, your fucking thruster, goddamn throttle, thruster. I don't know. Your thing that go make you go zoom or not zoom. And then your handle and your rear view mirror. The game is absolutely a blast. All of the aircraft have their own interior, and the flying is extremely realistic. So this thing does stall a lot when you're trying to land.
That looks awesome, man. It reminds me of Vile 2, Sturmovik.
Oh yeah.
Flippin' A.
Oh yeah, but
Well, yes. We have a segment on this podcast called A Hill to Die On, where one of us comes on with a horrible take and gets crucified for it. And today, it's actually me who's doing the Hill to Die On. And my crappy take is that I'd like to preface this by saying I do not support Russia in any way, shape, or form. Okay, I am a true NATO boo through and through. However, that being said, while I acknowledge that Russian tanks are brutally inferior to basically like any NATO tank whatsoever, I think they look cooler. They just have that look to them. I like the way they look. They're cool.
It's the Russian vibe.
It's like you take the same crappy tank from the 1970s and you're slapping all of these improvements on it, like ERA and new thermals and all that. I like it. So yeah, I'm proud of countries like I believe it's the Czech Republic and Poland operating Russian tanks as NATO. So I finally have an excuse to like build them. Also, shout out South Korea for taking the T-80s in payment for for debts that Russia owed them after the collapse of the Soviet Union. W South Korea, W Poland. Yeah.
What did
Come on, why do you guys
Germany?
yell at me?
What did East Germany do with all of their T-72s after the collapse of the Berlin Wall?
I don't know what they. I know what they did with their BMP ones, which was they actually put them in service, like as you know, the entirety of like in the Bundeswehr. I don't know about the T-72s. I think they may have sold them. I could be wrong, but I think they may have sold them. But yeah, but their BMP ones are still in service actually.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go out and say I think the Leopard looks way better than Soviet. Leopard 2. Even Leopard 1. That still counts.
Oh yeah.
I think that looks much better. Or just the
side.
also the Challenger 2. My preference is on the larger tanks, larger turrets, not small and fragile.
To combat Callum, I think the Challenger 2 looks like a lunchbox, and I never had a lunchbox as a kid, so I have the Challenger 2.
The Challenger 2 is like a brick. Like, it is far and away one of the best tanks ever built. But the way it looks, because I think it's probably because it's got the Chobham armor on it, and it just has to look that way because of the way, like the properties of the armor. But like, it just looks boring, you know?
I've got it in my stash. I got it for $10, but there's a reason I haven't built it yet.
Also, normalize putting machine guns on everything. That's what I'm here to say.
Oh yeah,
Into
we need
War
to
America.
go back to that. We
I
need to go
agree.
back to machine guns everywhere.
Yeah, back to the M2.
Did you know that
I mean,
We need hull machine gunners again.
yes, I agree.
Sega Mark
Well,
1.
talking about like Russian tanks, did you know that Vietnam still uses T-54s,
Oh, yeah.
but they are upgraded and they look sick
They
as
use
hell?
T-34s, bro.
Well,
What are you talking about?
Laos, which is right on the border, used T-34s right up until like a couple of years ago.
No, they still use them.
Wow.
Ezra, that's sick.
Yeah, look at that. Look at
That
that.
is really weird looking. What the fuck?
Ezra-
It
Just
even
pulling
has
out
the
the
little
curse.
chains.
Oh god.
It has the chains on the back of the turret. Look
This
at
is
that. It's
more
Israeli.
ammunition
It's
for
so
Greg and I
cute.
than,
incredible.
like the Tanoan Marine Corps T-55.
Honestly, really, yeah. Honest to God.
I will say this: the T-55 is one of the nicest looking tanks ever built. It just has that utilitarian look to it. It looks good.
Oh yeah, I will bow down to that.
I resent that.
The T-55 and 54 do look really cool.
Like when
I'm
you
a
think of a
T-72,
tank,
baby.
it's kind of like the quintessential design, you know?
Or
No, that's the Sherman.
That's the
Yeah, this is
Sherman.
true, yeah. Germans are nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know what else are nice? Studs.
Hey! Let's appreciate this moment. He didn't
So-
mention a single stug until now.
I thought he
Yes.
was going to say Tiger, to be honest.
July 24th, be there or be square. I'm going to demolish Ezra in front of a public audience.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I can't wait. I love getting demolished on air.
Hey, yo, it's kind of sus.
So, subscribe to our OnlyFans.
Well, that was my hill to die on. No one really killed me. Some people like threw a few spitballs at me. Some old McDonald's rappers, but
I don't know. Callum kind of took a
Callum, do you
pot
wanna-
shot at you.
tell me your strongest opinion right now on me. Like, come on, man. Make me suffer for this opinion. And he can't because he's dead.
Wheel of Fortune music.
Oh wow.
Do, 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 do.
Before anyone can disapprove of me, these are this week's works in progress.
Sweet. Wait, I'm first? Okay. That is my M5 project. The one that I mentioned in episode 2. It's been a long time. I'm gonna try to be quick, but this is basically just the pre-shading and all the add-ons. We've got sandbags, ammo cans. We got a wagon wheel, which is kind of sick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend like an hour justifying putting a wagon wheel on my M5 to Dawn in the Whips chat, but we'll see.
I'm
So
really
that's
excited for this.
yeah, I am too. Honestly, I'm gonna put a lot of time into this one, get it show worthy and all that. I've got a nice big old piece of wood for the base.
Care to
Got to
show us
sand
that,
it
Jack?
down. Yeah, so it's basically the skeleton there. Gonna add bushes. It's. I'll keep you all updated.
Looking
Very
forward
nice.
to seeing it, man. Have you been able to use that bin vice yet?
Oh yeah, notice the barrels drilled.
Yes, I see that. Oh,
yeah.
that's good to see.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get me one of those.
Oh, they're worth it. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
This is the one I've been working on. Greg and I have basically been spitballing this whole thing of like, if you play Arma 3, the video game, there's kind of this island nation in it called Tanoa, and it's more or less, it's just discount Fiji. But yeah, this is kind of like a T-55 I've been working on. Yeah, and I've just been more or less making it as sort of this like Tanoan discount Fiji T-55. Got the modified figure. He got some Israeli parts on there. Got some American parts, and he got an M4 with no rear sight. Yeah, I think that will tie it in pretty well. I'm trying to get better at doing the figures, but yeah, other than that, it's just been weathered to absolute hell, and a lot of 3D printed parts on it.
All right.
Oh, and homemade
Loving
decals.
this.
Don't take this the wrong way, Dennis. Don't take it the wrong way, but I think this might be like your best model.
Oh no, I fully agree with that. My models are crap. This one's
It's
just
just
Dude,
this one is a masterpiece.
I know I've kind of got a little involvement, so at least in the idea of this. But I love this tank. Like the blue and the green, the backstory, it just all flows so well. Like, look at that thing.
Definitely.
It's got the Google Earth tank.
Yes.
oh.
Have a Google logo on all the fucking wheels.
Well, you know what? It's still.
What
Go
did you? Oh, what did you use for the foliage?
That was just actually AK stuff. So they make these things where basically like you tear them apart. It's kind of like a mixture of static grass and just like little tiny leaves sprinkled in. And
Oh,
so
that's
kind of
cool.
ripped that apart and then glued it in.
Very nice.
It works well though for 35th scale. It works really, really well.
Oh yeah, it looks perfect.
Are you gonna add
I
anything
need-
else to it, or are you gonna keep it as
This
is?
is not even 50% done. I still have to make the base for it. I'm going to do even more weathering. I'm going to add even more foliage. I'm going to add things like palm fronds and big jungle tropical plants to it.
I
What
cannot
kind of
wait.
base are you thinking?
Pardon me?
What kind of base are you thinking?
Oh, not a big one. I don't really do well with big bases, but I'm thinking probably some reddish, kind of red earth. You get some tropical plants in there, maybe even a tiny puddle or two.
Ooh.
Just something to more or less set it down on, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Help bring the environment into play.
Yeah, exactly. But this is
So kind of like what I did for my Bob
exactly.
Simple.
It's more or less just something to kind of hold the model.
It's a
But-
vignette.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah. I will say
Oh.
it. Go ahead.
Sorry, just real quick for everyone. Where Dennis and I are making this into like a little, I guess you can say like a series. So if you want to hop on board with this, just let us know. I'm going to be building the Tamiya T62. Got it built already. Just need to paint it and whatnot. Basically following in Dennis's footsteps. But yeah, if you'd like to get on with it, just please let us know. We'd love to
Oh yeah.
make this like a series.
And I will be building either the Hobby Boss AA7V or the Tamiya IS2 as another one of these.
Like quite literally anything will go.
We will send you all the lore if you want.
Yes.
So get on the Discord and ask us to talk to you about the Tanoan Marine Corps. Greg, we should do a group build for this.
I agree. What do you think in like
Hell
a
yeah.
year we start getting some models set up as examples, and then
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
All
we'll,
right.
we'll see in about a year or so.
We'll do it.
Oh, guys.
What's up?
Tamiya's released a new kit.
Oh,
Which
really?
one?
A Comet.
Yeah.
What?
Where have you been at?
Hold on. I'm going to fact check this guy real quick. Tamiya Oh man, this guy's BSing me so hard right now.
Boy, where have you been, Ezra?
See, you can't say that about me because Dennis doesn't know, and he's
Dude, I
the
was on
Tamiya
the reason why
fanboy.
I'm saying is just, I was on the Tamiya website today, not like 5 hours ago. Tamiya
Dennis, we've talked about this.
Japan. Okay, when I'm at work, and I can say this because I'm not on the clock right now, I just cruise Tamiya's Japanese website and I just look at their model descriptions because I can do that.
You're just drooling.
They have to like.
Here's a link to Scalemates.
A link to Scalemates. Look at this.
Oh! I thought you meant the ME163 comment.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would have
No,
been
no.
cool.
Well, I was
got
about to
the-
say.
They are making
I've got the
this.
Tamiya ME163. That's the wrong comment. Okay.
They are making this, and I feel like an idiot because I actually had the metal barrel from Bronco for the 77mm gun, and I used it on a kit bash. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
Do you still have said kit bash?
I could probably just like Dremel it out, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
Throw it
this
in
is exciting
some,
to see. I'm glad to see Tamiya doing some more obscure stuff.
Dude, I almost bought the Bronco.
What do you mean? This is not obscure.
Compared to a Sherman, it is. Compared to a Tiger, it is.
Yeah, how many Bronco or
Okay,
Bronco,
that's
how
true.
many Comet kits are out there? Like the Bronco, what else?
There's a Tamiya.
No, there's not.
There might be an old one.
No.
Yeah, there's
No
an
way.
old one.
Send me a link.
Hold on, let me check this.
Okay.
I looked
I'm working
for
on it.
2 days and I could not find
Vespid
one besides
makes
Bronco.
one in 1:72 scale, and that's it. I will say though, I'm
Here,
excited to see the
I'm,
British figures they're going to come out with for that. That'll be fun to look at.
Oh yes. Hopefully they don't remold from like the Churchill or anything. They make
They
new
might.
ones.
They might.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, don't get me wrong; those are good figures, but they would be nice to have some brand new ones.
Oh, for sure. Well, that was my T55.
All right, so normally I am the king of multiple slides, but my addiction needs to come to an end. So this is my one slide, my one project. This is Kursk, my second diorama displaying Kursk. Basically, it's going to be a Russian light, little like scout car with some Russian infantry exploiting a German anti-tank flank position. It's going to be a trench. So the German position is a flank position with a German anti-tank gun and an MG42 dug in. Basically, there's one German sitting on the left side of the pack gun. He is the last defender. He stayed back so his boys could dip out. And then you got the Russians running up, getting ready to commit some war crimes. But yeah, we're getting there.
Goddamn Ruskies.
Says the guy who loves the German stuff.
I almost said yellow bastards, and then I realized they're the wrong people.
You know, we're gonna have to make Ezra. I gotta get your phone number so I can primarily just put you in my phone as like Ezra's or the Fourth Reich. I'll put you in as the Fourth Reich.
The Fourth Reich.
Bet I'll send you my phone number.
We need a group chat. Another group chat. A third
Yeah,
group chat.
another group chat other than the 5 we already had.
But yeah, that's my little Kursk dio. I'm gonna add some terrain features like micro terrain here and there, so that it's not all completely flat. Some barbed wire and whatnot, but it's just gonna be a basic flank position, and the Russians are exploiting. So
Nice one. Looks good.
thanks.
Well, we decided that, to cap off this podcast, we would have a little discussion about, in our opinion, what makes or breaks a model. So what will you get a model for? What will you not get a model for? If you've already got it, will you build it? Will you not build it? And why?
I think Callum should go first.
All right, could I start off?
Ezra.
Oh, yeah, Callum, you go first. No, Callum, go first.
If
Well,
he's
I think, how do you define what makes or breaks a model for you? I think that's the first thing to think of is I'm just bringing up a few notes here. Just give me one moment, please. But basically, like you have to think about it as what is model making to you? Is it getting a brand new kit that will fit perfectly each time? You just build it and start painting immediately, or is it one that it's a bit older, it's not that good, fit issues, you gotta maybe remake some things that might have broken or aren't that accurate. I mean, it all depends on whether that all makes or breaks it. So like I'll ask you guys, like, say if you had an old kit and a new kit of the same subject, what would you go for? Knowing that maybe the new kit goes together, but it's a bit easier, or the older kit, which is a bit harder, but maybe slightly better. Like, what would you guys do?
Whatever's cheaper.
Yeah, price definitely plays a factor in it.
Yeah, maybe that as well. It's like the newer ones are usually more expensive as well. You look at brand new TACOM and stuff like that, and they're expensive. The older ones are probably cheaper because you can buy them like second hand or something like that. So
I mean, if say the older kit needed more work but came with a full interior, and the newer one didn't have the interior, I'd buy the older one. But if I want like a quick build, I'd go with the newer.
For me, I actually don't like. I will build a lot. I know. I come off as like the Tamiya fanboy, and yes, it is true. The majority of kits I build are like Tamiya from like the '90s to the present day. But honestly, I will build basically any kit so long as it's not so detailed to the point where it's like a month-long project just to build it. Because I think I'm
your
more
universal
like a
carrier.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the things is like I actually thought of like doing the AA7V, right, that Greg did, but then I saw the tracks and it's like they're so complicated for no good reason, and they don't give you any better detail than say a set of Lincoln length tracks. Like the single biggest thing for me is just the tracks. I am not going to build a 7-part per length track run for say a leopard, where you literally you can't see half of them, and B, they're live tracks anyways, so vinyl tracks actually make more sense. But yeah, I like mine where it's like they're detailed enough that you don't have to worry too much about like spending a lot of time building it, but then they lack enough detail you can actually enjoy adding some of your own like cast texture and stuff like that.
I think I'm with Dennis on the whole track thing. I like the detail of like for example, most of us have done the R35 from Tamiya. And in my opinion, that track set is my favorite. It went together really easily. It shows detail. They put the natural sag in it. Now, granted, that gives you very limited, I guess, like diorama ideas for it because you can't have
a flat surface.
Yeah, exactly. So, with the exception of that being a problem, because me being a diorama maker, I really like having variety, but I will sacrifice that variety aspect and find a way to incorporate it before I do even a 2-part track. Like that AAV from Hobby Boss I didn't put both those pieces in the track link together. Like I tried, it was just too much for me. I did the Trumpeter BMP3 that had 3 pieces per track link, I think. And that took me 4 months just because of how annoying it was.
I would gladly sacrifice diorama potential to have Lincoln length tracks. Like
yeah,
that's fair.
I mean, hell.
Well, I just finished.
Go ahead.
I just finished assembling the tracks for my Weasel, and they were 4 parts per link. But I got each side done in maybe an hour and a half.
Certainly, like
it wasn't as bad as I
there
thought.
Are different manufacturers and like the way they approach individual link tracks. You get some like attack on Weasel, right? For a few factors, it's like the size of them. Correct me if I'm wrong. They were pretty well engineered, right?
Okay, they were beautifully engineered, but it's tiny. Like these are the narrowest tracks I've ever seen.
You've got like say a company like Tamiya. When they do individual link tracks, they're all pre-cut in a bag. All I have to do is click them together, and they're workable like that, right? Or then you have a company like Meng.
Or Dragon Smart Kit.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have a company like Meng where their individual link tracks are actually not workable. You have to glue them together in a run. But even that is honestly like, I think that's acceptable, just like leaving them like non-workable because you still get a detail out of them. But then you've got a company like Hobby Loss, which is like they're using individual like tracks as a crutch, like they're using it as an excuse to just like put less effort into molding, and then make you do all the work. If that makes sense.
And then charge you more because it's quote detailed.
Exactly. When you literally don't need it.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't wait for you, Dennis, to actually build that AAV and to get your final opinion on it. Because I'll be honest, I don't like generalizing. Like for example, I don't like to generalize. Let's say Tamiya for being bad for one reason, because one or two kits are bad, right? But Hobby Boss, every kit I've built from Hobby Boss or seen someone else build, like 8 out of 10 times, there's something that's majorly wrong with it. Like the AAV track links, the AAV fucking 15 Mark 19 turret siding not fitting, the interior walls not fitting, the back ramp wall having like a 1/4 inch gap. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, their Canadian Leopard kits are not bad.
Well, the Leopard kits themselves are
pretty good.
great, and the Leopard 2A6 in particular had great vinyl tracks. And it makes me wonder, why did they not
That's
use
true.
those same vinyl tracks on all the other Leopard kits? The molds literally exist. It is easier for you to simply not develop a new mold.
Well, I guess that leads on to like, next part of like what is considered good and bad in a kit. Like what's your limit? What's something you won't take? Whether it's say if it's I'm currently working on the Tamiya Jagdpanther, the old one, and when I clip the two hull hubs together, I've got maybe a 3-4 millimeter gap in the front and the back, but I can work with that. Like what's something that you guys see in a kit that immediately you will go no? Like
not including tracks.
What's your breaking point?
Oh, I've got
More than 4-part track links.
okay. Well, I've got a bit of a story. So personally, I'm not very picky. As long as it's like somewhat affordable, I'll just build it. I'll do it. It doesn't matter. I'm not very picky when it comes to models. I don't care. I'm a ship modeler. I'll spend 4 months doing tracks if I have to. It doesn't matter.
Did you say ship modeler or ship modeler?
However you want to hear it.
I couldn't hear.
However you want to hear it, shit or ship. But yeah, so my second ever commission build, it was a Revell USS Constitution in 1/96th scale, and I kid you not, the flashing was so bad that the sprue was just completely like filled in.
Oh,
It was completely.
It's a vac form kit.
Yeah, and the plastic was so shit. It was from the 70s, a Revell kit from the 70s.
Oh,
That's about my breaking point. I left out. It came with the sails and everything. I left them out. They were all cracked and everything because I guess it's been sitting for so long. The plastic was god awful. But yeah, the flashing in that kit was horrible. The whole thing was just flashed over.
Homeboy, you just bought a back form kit and you're
that's
not
not
willing
fun.
to work with it here.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even call it that because it's just you can tell that it wasn't meant to be that way. Some of the sprue was like cracked when I opened the box.
It's just a dookie ass kit.
Yeah, literally, but it probably cost a lot.
it's a Revell kit.
It probably cost a lot when they first released it. 'Cause it's a 1/96 scale.
Yeah.
It's a big kit. But yeah, I'm not very picky. I spent 8 months on that one. Rigging and all that. But that's about my breaking point right there.
I think it also depends on like the subject itself, whether or not you want a particular model of a particular vehicle or not. Say for me, I am all about variety. As I always say, for me, I don't care about the kit itself as long as it's more the subject I'm more interested in. And like I've got 2 IL-2 Sturmovik kits. One of them's Polish, one of them's Russian, and they are really old. Really, really old. They're Daco and Scala. But and I've had a look at the plastic. There is quite a bit of flash on them. They're not the best I can see, but I'll still build them. Like I've worked with old bad kits before. Namely something like the Arado AR196 I built. That was the Airfix 1966 molding of it, and I mean, I made it look decent, I think, but there were a few times I got very, very frustrated with it. The floats had some god-awful fitting to it, a lot of lines and a lot of seam lines, a lot of gaps. But like I'll happily persevere on a model if I'm fully interested in the subject. For me, having a brand new up-to-date kit is not the highest priority.
Yeah, I think I can agree with Callum on that part. Like,
Oh yeah.
hell, even Jack too. Like, I'm all about working with older kits and newer kits to make them, especially older ones, because like for example, the Tamiya 3.7 centimeter anti-tank gun, the Pack 35/36 kit, that's from like the 70s. Like the figures are literally one mold. Like the amount of or the lack of detail is just ridiculous. But I'm still using it because one, it's well, honestly, there's kind of not a better pack out there. But like one of my things I started saying when I first got into hobbies, I want to show the old kits some love, right? Because that's kind of like respecting your elders, which I mean, depending on the elder, and I guess that applies here as well, depending on the kit. If the kit is worthy enough, like if it has some flash issues, if it has some fitting issues, or whatever, or it needs like different type of, like if you get one with vinyl tracks and you want to do like let's say you get like a Tiger 1 and you want to use like metal tracks, those are easily, you can easily obtain those. And there's something special about taking a kit and building out of the box is great and all, but there's just something about like adding either scratch built or secondhand parts to the build itself and making it kind of your own. And whether it's historical, whether it's made up or whatever, as long as the kit won't give me too much of a headache and it's not too terribly expensive, I'll build it.
Like you'll kind of offset the cost for quality sometimes if you just want something that's a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
It's
like you're acknowledging, like if you're like about to cross a creek, not on a bridge, you're like, okay, I'm about to get wet, and then getting in the creek and getting pissed off that you're wet. It's like, okay, well, you understand you're buying a Revell kit from the 70s, right, Ezra?
Yeah. Just yeah.
I think there's a bit more of a skill and challenge in building the older kits that aren't that refined. It's,
definitely.
It's like, you see people and they build the brand new Tamiya M18 Hellcat. They do it well, but it's like, yeah, but that kit is super easy to build.
It's hard to fuck up.
You can basically dry fit the whole thing and it'll stick together. Whereas if you get something that's a lot older and, fights you the whole way, but you manage to make it work and make it look decent, like a newer kit, well, I think there's a bit more value in that.
Yeah, that's something they took into consideration at the IPMS, because they were like, because one guy actually brought the Tamiya M18, and they're like, well, does he get less points because someone built some old kit? I think it was like the Puma or something. I don't know. It was some old kit from like the 80s. And he's like, well, do I get more points because of my ingenuity? And they said no. Like, they're like, I understand your kit was harder to put together, but we're going based off of like its appearance. Like if you put the work in to make it better, that's great. If you didn't, then I mean he it's like taking a shortcut, right?
Yeah,
Well,
and I think that
I
would
think-
be.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
at,
Ezra, go for it.
at ArmorCon, they had a special award for whoever entered like the oldest model or like the worst model and then made it look really nice.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice, actually.
That's
actually
a
really
category.
Yeah, so it was,
I think
yeah, it was one of the awards up there with like best
Who won?
German.
Or what one?
I'm not even sure.
Some Academy kit.
Ravel.
I think it was the Allen SU-76. I might be wrong though.
Well, I think it kind of falls also to there's really two types of modelers. There are people who like putting the model together and like that process of actually constructing it, and there are people who more enjoy the painting and weathering side of it. Like this is just off of my own personal experience. I like putting together models, right? Like I really enjoy that. I love modding them and adding scratch build stuff to all that to them. But I will always prefer the whole painting aspect of it than painting and weathering it and kind of adding that touch of life to it more than I will enjoy say putting tracks together or adding full edge grills. Don't get me wrong, I like doing that, but I think for a lot of people, like yes, the new Tamiya kits and the new main kits, many people would say they're not as challenging, but for a lot of people, if your whole idea is just try and get the maximum amount of detail with the minimum amount of time investment in the construction, so you can then get to painting it, I'd say that's where like some people, like at least myself, like the new stuff, and that's why I do tend to build a lot of new kits. Also because I can afford them. Cope and seethe.
That's a really good point too, because like a lot of people don't have time to sit there and like build I don't know, like I guess an old Revell or Hobby Boss kit, like the AAV7 for instance. Like that kit, I worked maybe 8 hours a day on that kit for like 4 days. Okay, just building it. It was a pain in the dick, and some people don't have the time to do that. They just don't. Like they work 12-hour shifts, they have a family and stuff, and they're maybe getting in 30 minutes to 2 hours a week modeling, if that. And they don't want to sit there and build like the AAV7 from Hobby Boss and take like 9 months to do it, whenever they could pick up the Tamiya R35 and get it done in 2 months, right? It's all about what you are looking for as a modeler.
Wait,
Well, that's
Greg,
where
you
you
said
can get
8 hours a
detail.
day?
Yeah.
You should try a ship model.
No,
Yeah, I was about
you
to
can
say
suck
ship
it.
models are a whole other
You can
difference.
suck it. No, I will never. I don't ever think I will build a ship model. I really don't. I might do
wanna
the LHA 6, the USS America that I was on during deployment, but that would be
yeah.
it. That would
Do a
be it.
submarine, Greg. Those are fun. They're easy. You can do a lot of the ship stuff with them, and it's
Okay,
they're
a
great.
submarine I might do because they're basically a big tube, but
Do the I-400.
To the I-400, yeah.
I've got a big tube, Ezra.
Prove it. All right, fine. You pick a big deal. Prove it.
MMP.
Whip it out, bud.
MMP OnlyFans. Let's go.
Hey, Ezra, check your DMs.
No. I already saw the feet pics you sent me.
Oh God.
Okay, so I'd say the next question for this is: say you're building a model and it's
Right.
not going well. It's fighting you. You're getting frustrated with all of that. What do you do with it? Do you A, bin it, or do you B, shelf queen it? Do you go
Shelf
back to it and leave it?
queen. Shelf queen.
Shelf
I've
win.
never
Any-
been a
like-
model.
Has anyone
Like
ever
a
binned a
crime.
model before? Like, have you been
I have.
halfway through it and just went, fuck it?
Well,
Yes.
I will say I haven't
Yes.
actually put in the bin. I've just put it back on the shelf, but in the original box.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So what have you guys binned before?
Arc models, 1:35 scale, 105 millimeter German self-propelled mat gun.
And why was that?
It was. It was just annoying. I don't know why. It's not a hard kit. It was just annoying, and it's individual track. It was right after I did the BMP3, and I started doing track links, and it's individual track links, but they're only one link per. Like it's only one piece per link. but I got like halfway done with one side, and I was like, I can't do this, and I just put it up and haven't touched it since.
I
And
was
who-
doing a Tamiya 1/48 scale Brewster Buffalo, the F2A, and I binned it. Well, I shelved / binned it because of just horrible detail, horrible fit, and raised panel lines. Like, I would actually be willing to put up with the detail and the fit issues, but the raised panel lines were just like, yeah,
Too much.
Yeah,
So, I remember you bought. I remember you buying that one, and you were pretty excited to build it, and then we never heard of it again.
it was lost. You know what? I will be honest with you.
It's just like his A6 Intruder.
The A6 Intruder, I just put away because I was like not in the mood anymore. But that will come back. It is half assembled. Like, it's just something I'm gonna have to clear in the backlog. I will say though, the Brewster Buffalo I bought mostly just for the box art, because man, that box art was good.
That's
You
true.
should thumbtack it.
I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm cutting off all the box
I
art for my
think-
kits, and I'm just like making a folder of it.
Hey, you're just copying me, aren't you?
Oh yes, I copy.
I've
most
got
of the
my-
things you do.
I've got my
I love
boxes
your
on my
walls.
wall.
Yeah, my dumbass threw all my shit away because I didn't think about that.
Always keep the box arts. They're a work of art.
They literally are. Yeah, like quite. They have signatures.
Yeah.
Actually, Airfix have got a book series on their artworks.
That's really
Do
cool.
they really?
Yeah, they
Oh,
That
they
is
do.
cool.
I saw one, and there's one available in New Zealand, but I saw the price of it. It was $130.
oh God.
I was like, hey, no, I'm good, eh?
I don't need box art that bad.
Some of those Mang kits have incredible box art.
Yeah, I like the who sent you? I think it's Jason Wong. I want to say, but he's the guy who does the box art for Mang and Tacom, and man, he's talented.
Yeah. Tacom box art is incredible.
It's very sleek and clean.
I think Tacom probably is the best box art out there.
It feels more futuristic. Like the boxes themselves, they're like more sturdy. They're more clean and sleek versus like a Tamiya box. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Tamiya, but it's definitely, it feels more professional, I guess, with Tacom. When you pick
Oh
a
yeah, they
Tacom
got
box.
they got the colored and like instructions too.
Oh, dude,
I
yeah.
will say Border Model. Shout out to them because their box art is really nice, and they've also did one of their kits they give to you in a wooden box. Like, you've got the box art, right? But it's a sleeve. And then you
That's the
pull sleeve
T-34, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's the T-34 with the extra armor. And that one, then it's actually got a wooden box made of balsa wood, and it's got like a laser engraving of the T-34 on it. And their new kit, the Baobak Tongue Panzer IV, that is in a metal box, which is pretty cool.
Damn. Nice.
Yeah, it's funny though. The T-34E they've got, the box sounds really good, but apparently the kit is horrible. And,
I built that kit actually.
Like the applique armor is just not good.
Well, here's the thing. So that was, I think, like their third or fourth kit. That actually, no, that was probably like their second kit they ever came out with. On paper, the kit is great because it's got working suspension, working tracks that you have to just click together, right? They're like one-piece tracks, right? It's got a full turret interior. It's got a metal barrel with rifling detail on it. It's got photo etch. It's got resin
Jesus.
stowage. And of course, like the clear parts and all that, right?
What's the catch?
Well, the catch is that that's what it says on paper. And they do, like many things from China nowadays, that's also what you get in the box. However, the springs that they gave you for the suspension were way too stiff, so you couldn't actually actuate the suspension without breaking the plastic. The tracks were reasonably well detailed, but the problem was like the little nubbins that hold them together once you click them in were made of way too soft plastic, so they would deform too easily, and you basically had to like glue them on anyways. The turret interior was actually really good. I have nothing to say about that. The gun barrel was great, but the general fit of the kit was like hobby boss level, right? Yeah. The applique armor was actually not bad. There were fit issues with it, but like nothing that was too insane. Like you could, the nice thing was you could actually see where the fit was the issue, and you could actually like just kind of using a lot of glue, you just kind of force stuff it together, and it did end up working. It was definitely a hard kit to put together, but that was also just because of the sheer number of pieces. But yeah, if you want to do a T-34 that isn't like the same old, I would actually recommend it. Like if you're willing to work with a few of the challenges, like as we're talking about now, you could do it.
I think I remember when you built it. Wasn't it like one of your first things you post on
That's
Kitmaker?
correct,
Yeah.
Okay, so question for everyone. What is the model that you struggled with the most but still finished?
That Constitution. It was kind of a nightmare, but I got it done. It looked half decent. I've improved a lot since then, but that was one I struggled with a ton. Yeah.
Greg, same question.
Oh shit! Either the Hobby Boss AAV7 that I recently did, and the one that Dennis was about to do, or the Trumpeter BMP3. Those are like neck and neck for me.
Ezra?
Definitely my Shockhal Dillette. It's fought me like every step of the way.
That's the AFE club
It
one,
was-
isn't it?
Yeah.
Shame on them.
Dennis?
I would say it would probably have to be. I want to say it's actually going to be my 1:32 scale CF-104. The original one I did. I have done two now, but one was like the first one was a single seater, and that one just had so much flash and so many seam lines. Yeah, and it was like a brand new kit as well, and that just fought me the whole way. But yeah, again, finished result. If you can push through it, it looks good. How about you, Cal?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would have to say the worst one I encountered was the AMG. Was it the NKL-26 Erasan? The Soviet armored ski thing.
Oh, that
You know, the-
thing
the-
that you
that
told us
thing,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that one was kind of my fault. I wasn't quite skilled enough for it. I kind of let my ego get away with me on that one. Because that one was my first one that had photo etch, it had metal parts, metal cast parts, and plastic parts. And I built that within... I think that was the 6th model I built since I restarted. And that one was a fight. As the photo etch wasn't the best on it. It was the old style photo etch that's quite thick. So to bend it was an absolute nightmare, and like that one came close to getting thrown out. It was very close because that one I had problems with the primer. I had problems with the paint. Like for some reason, the paint didn't dry for an entire week. There was some sort of
Yeah.
chemical reaction to it. The paint just never dried, so I had to strip it all back to primer and repaint it with a different paint. So, yeah, I'd say that one was one of the worst, and I'm sure there was one more. But that one is definitely that one was humbling. I'll put it that way. That one humbled me, which I kind of needed.
All right, so here's, I guess, maybe one last question for you guys. So let's do a thought experiment. You guys just got like put in charge of like some big model corporation, right? Now, what is one feature that you would say, like going forward, most like this is a feature you want to see on model kits going forward? Like, what would you add?
Include both Lincoln length and rubber tracks.
That's good.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a good one. Ooh.
I want to see the eBay special of wooden deck and photo etch included in ship models.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
How about you, Greg?
So I've got two takes for this. As a diorama maker, I think it'd be really nice to have, no matter the kit, like for an example, I've got a BTR 70 that like the box art shows all the doors open, but the actual kit has literally zero interior. So if I wanted to have like guys coming out of the inside, I'd have to have them in the doorway, so you can't like. So like, not a full interior, but enough to where if you had like the hatches open, you could see a seat or two, like just enough detail in the interior where if like a hatch is open, like on a take turret, you can see like the commander's periscope or something, right? Or on like an Abrams, his 50 dashboard, right? Something like that. As well as like. Included with that segment, figures, like more figures per kit, and then my other idea would be like, for example, the Corsair. We've seen tonight all the different types and variants of the Corsair, and how many countries use them. I think it would be nice if like Tamiya had their 1/48 scale Corsair had more decals to make them different countries. So if you wanted to make the New Zealand one, if you wanted to make the Canadian one, the British one,
Ezra's Reich.
Yeah, Ezra's Reich, for Christ's sakes, right? Like
Ezra's right.
like the M4 Sherman is also a good example. Just adding the decals and I know that's depending on the vehicle, that's a lot of decals, but it's options, right? You don't have to get aftermarket. You can make it literally. Whatever country actually used it.
Get the Tamiya autoloader collab.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite literally, yes.
You
Promote
shake
my boy.
hand with a red panda in like a business suit.
But yeah, that would be mine.
I would say mine would be always ensuring workable suspension. I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, always have workable suspension. And then maybe... No, just that. Workable suspension, always.
I'd say for me, like, I'd like to make some sort of machine where you can like cast white metal tracks, and then after you cast them, like the machine does it all automatically. Then it basically like just links them together by like automatically, so it spits out. You pour in the metal ingots, like metal, what are they called? Like the metal rods, right? And then you just it spits out pre-linked runs of tracks. So like what you could do is you could include in your kit rather than having to worry about, okay, it's a vinyl track, which is too simplistic on detail, or it's like link and length or individual link tracks which are too hard to assemble. All people have to do is put in the one link, right? And just say you've got all the advantages of individual link and workable and metal tracks. Then you just add that. That Ukrainian company Sector 35, they already do that stuff. It's just not coming in kits as default. And I would charge an extra $20 for it. And I would pay for that. I'd pay for that.
I would 100% pay for that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a second one as well. I think all kits should have... This is for 3D people with 3D printers. All kits in the instructions should have a QR code that if you scan it, brings you to an STL file for aftermarket.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, yes, yes.
If you want aftermarket parts, you scan a QR code on the box or on the instructions or whatever, and it brings you to company-made STL files for any accessory aftermarket, something like that. I think
that would be neat.
So then that way you can either build it out of the box or you can get additional accessories.
You could have a whole page of 50 accessories that you could just throw on there.
Yeah,
that would be
and even if the STL,
That'd be
even
sick.
if the STL files were $5 each or something like that, not even that. But,
Or
yeah.
sell a catalog of STL file QR codes.
Yeah.
Sell it for $50 and have everything.
Actually, yes, that would be a good. You buy it. You buy a catalog for a slightly higher price, but gives you access to all STL files for
For the rest of your life.
Or like in every Tamiya model magazine, you get a QR code at the back. You scan it and get a free STL file.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they already give you like quote unquote free gifts of like the masking tape. Like, yeah, get a little STL file. Maybe it's like a jerry can or an ERA brick or something like that.
Yeah. Well, for those all who read the Tamiya magazine online, you know, i.e. me.
Why, this might be off topic, but why are aircraft kits still, like, why does the fuselage still have to come in two pieces? What, can't you just have a cast fuselage where you don't have to fill it and sand it?
Are you saying they should slide mold fuselages?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's not a
Why
bad
not?
idea.
That would be dope as
Yes,
hell.
that's another one. Slide molded fuselages. Yeah, because then you wouldn't have to worry about the seam line running along the top and the bottom, would you?
Oh!
And you wouldn't have to worry
I
about
mean,
erasing
you
panel
would still
lines.
have a small.
Yeah, you'd have
a small seam, but
that wouldn't be as bad. Some of the some seam lines are nightmares, and then you like erase all the panel lines trying to get it fit.
You know what I would like for aircraft kits? And granted, I've only built 2. One's not even fully built yet. The canopy to have like pre-masked to where
Yeah.
like they come like in the plastic wrapping pre-masked, so you can literally just spray glue on and then take the mask off. Like that
Or-
would be so. I'd pay for that. I paid
Or-
$10 extra for that.
Even to just come out like to come with a sheet of like pre-cut,
Yeah, come with a
masks?
sheet of masks would be really
because
good.
Edward sells pre-cut masks, but they're expensive.
Well, that's what Arma Hobby's doing for their 72 scale stuff. The each aircraft comes with a sheet of masks for the canopy.
That is so
Yeah.
nice. Oh my god.
We should run a model company.
Oh yeah.
We should.
We'll
Beaver
become like Andy's hobbies. Have our own model shop, have our own red pandas in the back slaving away. I mean, helping out. Have
Dang, yeah, that'd be
Well.
sick.
Guys, I think we may have done a podcast.
I believe so.
I think so.
yes.
Well then, shall we
I mean, it was a hard podcast to make, but we made
Why
it.
was it a hard
Technical issues?
podcast?
It wasn't
Oh,
difficult.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like last time.
Not me being insecure about my slides.
Dennis vomited a
Oh,
few
yeah.
times, but don't worry about it.
Dennis, we should probably just mention Discord, group build, all of that.
Yes. Before we shut everything down, we have a Discord. If you want to join in on a discussion about models, if you want to post your works in progress, talk to a like-minded community, we run a Discord. The link for it to join it is going to be in every single one of our videos descriptions, as well as it's on our Spotify and on all of our social media pages. Registering is absolutely free. It takes only a few seconds. And yeah, it is just a really great platform to discuss scale model making and all sorts of other things on.
We also do stuff what we call hangouts, which is when a whole bunch of us will just jump online in the voice chat and maybe turn on your camera if we want or not. And when you're just building models or whatever you want to do, if you just want to chat and sit around, we regularly do hangouts where we're just chilling and chatting. So.
And it's at random too. It's not like a set
There's-
time where you could or couldn't miss it. It's
There's
like,
almost always someone online, yeah.
yeah. Like if you wanted to come on and start the hangout yourself and put in the chat, hey, I'm going to be in here for an hour or two, or I'll be on in an hour or two. Like, who wants to join? You'll almost always get someone pinging you. Like, if I'm not at work and I'm not out with my family, I'm typically in my garage. So,
Hell, Kovacs in the group in the voice chat right now.
yeah, he is.
Yeah, shout out Kovacs.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, if you've come to this point, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
All right,
See you
see ya.
later.
See ya,
Bye,
boys.
everyone.